What if I told you that behind your screen right now is an ancient key? A key that's been hidden in temples, monasteries, and secret scrolls for 2,000 years. A key that opens the door to the most forbidden place in the universe, the human mind. You have heard me. Tonight, we break taboos. We're going to tear down the barriers, and I'm going to show you how to read anyone's mind through body language. Imagine sitting across from a man whose lips say yes, but whose eyes say no. His arms are crossed, his leg is twitching nervously, and his eyes are averted. What if I told you that in just 10 minutes, you could read these hidden signals like an open book? And it's not magic. This is knowledge that monks have been keeping behind 7 seals for 2,000 years. And today, I'm going to risk revealing it to you. But it's not a trick. It's not a trick. It's a science that has been honed by generations of Buddhist monks. Knowledge that the Buddha called Vipassanakaya, insight through the body. In 2024, Stanford neuroscientists confirmed it. 93% of our communication occurs without words. And now, you're about to learn the 3 secrets that kept Zen masters from renouncing their monastic vows for decades. Ready to touch the forbidden? Then don't blink. The first revelation will begin in 3, 2. Secret 1, the shadow of emotion in motion. The hands are the traitors of the soul. Remember the parable of the monk and the merchant. When the merchant was lying, his fingers involuntarily reached into his pocket as if to hide the truth. When a person sharply hides his hands behind his back or clutches an object, his mind is a prisoner of fear. Fingers never lie, said the Buddha. In the 8th century, the monk Xuanzang wrote in his journal, "Fingers lie less often than lips, but the trembling of the knees is truer than 1,000 words." Modern science calls them micro-movements, involuntary impulses that betray fear, lust, lies. In 2024, Dr. Emily Ross of Stanford proved it. The eyebrows are the hands of the inner compass. Raise them 1 millimeter, and the brain activates the fear zone. Lower them, and it activates aggression. But how do we use them? The Buddha taught, observe the fluttering of the disciples' eyelashes before you give an answer. Practice the tiger gaze 10 minutes a day. Observe the eyebrow movements of people on the street. In a month, you'll start to see emotions like an X-ray. And I'm not kidding. Next time you talk to someone, turn off the sound. Observe only the language of silence. If your pupils dilate when you make a statement, it's true. If your right foot points toward the exit during an explanation, flight. If a person touches his neck while talking about love, his heart is closed. Secret 2, the geometry of lying. The Dhammapada says, a snake preparing to strike compresses its tail into a spiral. Man is no exception. A 45-degree angle between the feet is flight. Shoulders turned 23 degrees away from the interlocutor, a hidden dislike. But most importantly, the rule of thumbs, literally. If your thumb is up when you tell a story, you believe what you're saying. Hidden in a pocket, you're a master of illusion and deception. The shadow that shines. The ancient sutras say, seek light in darkness and truth in contrast. Real emotion always breaks through with micro gestures, 0.2 seconds long. That's when the mask comes off. How do you catch those flashes? Monk technique, focus on the 3 mirrors. 1, forehead. Wrinkles of anger are not to be confused with joy. 2, the corners of the lips. A false smile doesn't reach the eyes. 3rd fingers, trembling betrays fear, even in masters of deception. A student asked a Zen master, "How do you tell friend from foe?" The master replied, "Look where his shadow falls when he speaks of happiness. In the caves of Ajanta, there is a mural of King Ashoka interrogating a spy. It clearly shows the traitor's left foot turned toward the door. The caption reads, 'The body runs before the soul.' And now you're about to receive a tool more powerful than a lie detector, the 5 corners matrix. Remember, nose, knees, elbows, wrists, pupils. If 3 of the 5 look in different directions, you're facing a maze of lies. But there is a way to bring out the truth. The Sage Code, 3 rules that will change your perception. 1. The law of reflection. When a person copies your posture, their mind is open. 2. The rule of first reaction. True emotion is revealed before words. 3. The principle of emptiness. The more gestures, the less truth. Try this today. Ask a coworker, "Are you happy with the project?" Do not look at their face. Look at their feet. If the socks are facing you, it's sincerity. If they are facing the door, it is a veiled protest. Buddhist sages believe that the body is the universe in miniature. If a man says, "I am calm," but his little finger trembles, it is an earthquake in his world. When he swears allegiance while adjusting his collar, it is a hurricane of doubt. Secret 3. The rhythm of truth. The Shaolin monks could tell if a thief was guilty by the rhythm of his breathing. Remember, when you lie, your breathing becomes shallow, like a trapped animal. Notice how your conversation partner's shoulders raise when you inhale. A sharp inhalation is a sign. There is a secret here. Breathing is the voice of the subconscious. In the Shaolin monastery, they still teach the dragon dance, the art of mirroring your opponent's breath. The coincidence of breathing rhythms creates a hypnotic connection. Check yourself. When the person you're talking to takes a breath, slow down your breathing slightly. After 2 minutes, when his pupils dilate, that's trust. When his palms turn, that's openness. And his tongue starts to say what he never intended to say. It's not magic. It's the neurobiology of mirror neurons. The silence of the body is louder than 1,000 words. Buddha taught, truth lives in silence. When a person lies, the body becomes the battleground between the mind and the heart. Look, the fingers unconsciously tapping on the table are a metronome of fear. Eyebrows flying up for a moment is a cry of doubt. Hands hidden in pockets, a flight from the truth. When the Buddha was asked, "How do you unravel the most cunning liar?" he replied, "Ask a question and freeze. The first 3 seconds of silence will burn the truth into his face. After the big question, don't fill in the blank. Look at the bridge of your interviewer's nose. Even a professional will flinch if the silence lasts more than 5 seconds. Silence is the best detector. The Lotus Sutra describes the shadow of the sage technique. 40 days of repeating a teacher's posture to enter his mind. Your task is simpler. At your next meeting, copy your boss's posture. Just don't overdo it. His subconscious will begin to see you as a Zen detective exercise. Step 1. Observe strangers in a coffee shop. Guess their attitudes from the angle of their heads. Step 2. Analyze politicians on tape. Where do their hands tell the truth and their lips lie? Step 3. Test it on loved ones. Ask, "How was your day?" by reading the answer in the footsteps. Remember, the body never betrays. As Lao Tzu said, truth lives in the bones, lies in the tongue. In 124 BC, Master Zhou Li spent 40 days in a cave with a captured spy. He didn't ask a single question. He simply breathed to the beat of his ragged heart. At dawn on the 41st day, the spy spilled his secrets and sobbed at his teacher's feet. When the rhythms become one, the boundary between I and you dissolves like salt in the ocean, Zhou Li wrote later. Today it's called neural resonance. MIT scientists have proven that synchronized breathing changes brainwave patterns in 7 minutes. Can you feel your lungs subconsciously adjusting to my voice right now? But power requires wisdom. The Diamond Blade Sutra has a chilling story about a monk who abused mind reading. He began to see so deeply that he could no longer tell the difference between his emotions and his own. His mind became one cell with thousands of voices. That's why the Buddha taught, insight is a sword with 3 blades. One cuts ignorance, the other 2 protect the heart. Before applying any secrets, ask yourself the holy question, for whose benefit? If the answer doesn't include the words love or salvation, close that door forever. I suggest an exercise for the bravest of the brave. The exercise is called Shadow of the Samurai. Choose a person. Secretly synchronize 3 things with him. 1. Blink rate. Count in your mind. 1, 2, 3 breaths. 2. Head tilt angle. Repeat with a 5-second delay. 3rd, finger tapping rhythm. Your little finger is a mirror of his index finger. After 15 minutes, walk up to him and offer him something he's sure to say no to. You'll hear, "You know, let's try it." Why? His subconscious has already labeled you as one of his own. But remember the story of the monk. In 1937, the Japanese anthropologist Kimura recorded the words of a dying 108-year-old nun. The body speaks the dialect of childhood. Look for gestures that were not present in her native village. A modern example, a person raised in poverty, even after becoming a millionaire, will cover his mouth when laughing, a habit to hide bad teeth. But most important are the tongues of the feet. They're always turned toward what really matters. A date with your socks out. The marriage is doomed. A negotiation where the boss turns his shoes toward the window. He's already mentally gone. The latest code, pain as the key. In 2018, Science published a scoop. People are 300% more honest when they experience mild pain. Buddhist ascetics have known this for centuries. Truth torture technique. Bite your tongue lightly when you ask a question. Your micro-mimic of pain activates an ancient instinct in the interlocutor. Danger. You must tell the truth. But the dose should be as small as a pinprick in a baby's finger. Too much, and you get a lie flavored with fear. Now, the most important thing, how do you distinguish between body reading and manipulation? The answer lies in the 4 seals of Buddhism. 1. All emotions are impermanent. Look for abrupt shifts and patterns. 2. Ego is an illusion. The body does not lie when one is unaware. 3. Suffering is born of attachment. Clearest signals are in moments of loss of control. 4. Truth beyond words. Only trust what is repeated 3 times. Doubtful? Test it 3 times. 3 different days, 3 different situations. If the signals match, it's not coincidence. It's destiny. The latest example from the world of big data, Google's AI analyzes 17,642 bodily parameters to predict lies. But back in 500 BC, the Buddha told King Pasenadi, "Truth is not in the multiplicity of signs, but in their harmony, like the strings of a zither. Your task is simpler. Choose 3 signals from different areas, for example, gaze plus foot posture plus voice timbre. If they all scream one thing, you possess the truth. If not, you are simply a victim of your own prejudices. Legend has it that the blind master Shu Wen could see the dreams of an entire village by the sound of their footsteps. When asked how this was possible, he picked up a handful of sand. Each grain falls to the rhythm of the heart of the one who threw it. In 2026, the CIA declassified documents. The spy, Alice, was identified not by surveillance, but by gait analysis. Her left foot paused 0.07 seconds longer when she walked, a sign of childhood trauma known only in her home village. The body remembers everything, even what the mind buried long ago. Don't look for lies. Look for the contradiction between the words and the body. As the Buddha said, a river may flow westward, but its foam will always give away the wind. Practice, and one day you will see the foam before you hear the river. But be warned. There's a warning in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. He who looks into the abyss of thought must become purer than a mountain spring. Otherwise, the abyss will begin to look into him. In 1999, the brilliant psychologist Richard Coleman, who deciphered 190 micro-gestures and committed suicide, left a note. You never stopped talking. His mistake? He forgot the Buddha's cardinal law. Compassion is more important than truth. Use these secrets to heal, not judge, to connect, not to manipulate. Now, it's your turn. Take a tool from this clip today. Learn to read the language of the feet in a negotiation. Notice the breathing rhythm of a loved one. Check out a colleague's rule of thumb and write in the comments what worked. Your experience will become a beacon for thousands of other seekers, and it will also tell you what the next video should be. Deeper into neurobiology, or more Buddhist parables, the secrets of the voice, or the mystique of the handshake. You are no longer just a viewer. You're the keeper of knowledge that has endured through the ages. If this video has touched your soul, like it. Not for the algorithms, for the 8th century monk who carved these truths in stone, knowing it was you who would read them. Sign up, because in a week, we'll reveal the most dangerous secret of all: how to use body language to influence anyone's decisions. But only if you get 1,000 plus in the comments. Fair enough? You know what I mean. Words mean nothing. The number of likes is the body language of the crowd. See you in eternity, or at least in the next issue.